Hello everyone, it's Melanie. I wanted to share a couple of journals that I've been working in. Share them with you, see if you find anything inspiring in them that you could use in journals of your own. I'm enjoying working in them, but I've gotten a little stalled. So maybe doing this video will help me along a little bit. Both of these journals are made out of some of these Time Life books, This Fabulous Century, and I was able to find 3 copies of these books. But what I did, I just gutted the books and I used the covers. I made 2 journals out of them. One, let's see, I guess I made them both. The spines are, let's see, finished out at about 3 1/4 inches. And they each have 5 signatures in them. I did them with chain stitch, so each signature is bound individually with chain stitch. This one, I had this vintage fabric that I used for the spine of this one, and I just love this fabric. And I almost kind of regret using this yarn to stitch it with because I sort of lost the look of this embroidered fabric, but I'm enjoying the book as a whole. So there's that one. And then for this one, I wanted something with just a whole lot of contrast. So I ended up with some of this hydrangea fabric that I really love. So on to the books. I made 2 of these and I made them really big. And they were very much inspired by Gina at the ReBookery channel. She has a journal that she calls her little journal, and it's not so little. But that was kind of what inspired these. So I made 2 of them, and they have, if I can remember correctly, I thought I wrote it down somewhere, how many pages they ended up having, and it's somewhere near 300 pages each. And I'm kind of starting to think maybe that was a little bit overkill. But let me show you how I decided to use them. So a couple of months ago, actually back in November, once my daughter went off to college, we decided to rearrange some rooms in our house. And in the process, I took down a bunch of bulletin boards, or had to move some of our bulletin boards around, some of mine. And I'm a bulletin board junkie. I have been since I was younger. My bedroom at home, when I lived at home, when I was, a teenager, my bedrooms at home always covered in bulletin boards, were covered in stuff. So I had to clean off a bunch of bulletin boards in the process of rearranging. And so I decided that I was going to take a lot of the stuff that I had on my bulletin boards and put it in these books. So that's kind of how it began. And I sort of started at the front here. These were things I had on my bulletin board that had my name on them, so I thought, well, that's a good place to stick those right in the beginning, since it's my book. These are some notes and things from my daughter. Tuck those in there. This was on my bulletin board for a long time. It's I think it's for plastic canvas, but it's like a pattern for a design for plastic canvas. There's an envelope there. This is a postcard from a friend of mine when she was in Singapore, and so I decided to put this on the page, and then I kind of started collaging and journaling around it with other things, and I don't know if I like that. I can't decide if that's really how I want to do this entire book. This is some stuff that came with my Hobonichi, and this, I just put that on there from an air plant. So I haven't gotten very far in this. I did skip around a bit. More things that I haven't glued in yet. The pages in this book that I put in, I just love. They're from all different kinds of things. This is from a Highlights magazine. This is from an atlas. This is from an old yearbook. Some coffee dyed composition paper from an old encyclopedia. And then I just went through and sewed random fabric to some of the edges, and then put some pockets in. It's another atlas page, some scrapbook paper, There's a fabric pocket. This is some backing fabric or backing paper that I use when I paint other pages. So that's wrapping paper. And so I kind of went through, I did skip around a little bit because I had a couple of pages like this is from a cosplay that I did. I was Effie Trinket from the Hunger Games. And these were the pictures that I used to make my costume. And then I need to get a picture of myself to put in here as Effie Trinket because it was just absolutely fabulous and so much fun. I can hardly stand it. So this book has a lot of tucks and spots. And this is a Mother's Day card from my dog, and I thought it really went cute with this page. And then I happened to find this one, which is a Mother's Day card from my other dog. So this is from my female dog, and this is from our male dog. I think that must have been the same year. They gave me some Mother's Day cards. So the rest of this book, oh, that was something else that was on one of my bulletin boards. The rest of this book, though, this is stuff that was on a bulletin board, and yes, I did have things pinned on my bulletin board that went back to 2012. But I'm anxious to fill this book up. I can't decide how much. I guess that was something that I was going to throw out, but I don't know where it came from. I just haven't decided how exactly I want to use it. How involved I want to get with decorating the pages, or if I really just want to attach things, glue things in. Just, right off of the bulletin boards. Here's another page. This is a sweet card, a card that I got, a thank you card for a friend that I worked on some stuff with, and I thought the back of the card was really interesting because it has some stuff about the birds, so I just glued the envelope in flat, and then that way I can keep the card in there. And the thing that I worked on for her were some Christmas table decorations out of gold lame, so I actually took a piece of the gold lame and stitched it onto the page. This is just some things that were laying on my desk. It's another fabric pocket. Ledger paper, and then I also just sewed, there's a piece of ribbon sewn onto the edge of that. There's a piece of fabric sewn on. I painted a bunch of pages. There's a little pocket. More of these. Each signature has one of these on the outside, one of these painted backings for that painted paper. So this paper was on my bulletin board, one of my bulletin boards, and it's a poem or something that my daughter wrote a long time ago, and I didn't have the heart to actually glue it in. So what I did was put it in a protective sleeve, a sheet protector, and then I stitched around the outside and trimmed it down so that it would stay in, and then I glued the sheet protector in the book. So it's in here and it's completely attached to the page, but the paper itself, it doesn't have any glue or anything on it. These are some little gift treat sacks, treat bags, fold outs, and there's just all kinds of papers in here. This is some baseball scorecards, and this came from a planner, I think, of my daughter's, and then I just stuck some things in them as I just stitched it to a piece of an atlas page and then stuck it in. There's two of those in there. There's another one. And then this is my binding template that I used to bind this book. So anyway, this is the first one, and this is kind of my bulletin board book. So the second one that I made, I decided, or what I was thinking of, was that on the bulletin boards, I usually end up having quite a few just random photos. So literally, these are my old dogs that have passed on. This is Gizmo and this is Buster, and both of these are Buster. This is a picture I took in Mexico. This is a picture I took in Rome. So I have all these random photos that were also on the bulletin boards, and I thought what I would do is put one photo or so on each page. This was the first day I did. This was in February, and I put a picture of the new lights that I got. This is where I sit when I do my videos. And I had gone to the 85C bakery. So I put those pictures on there from that day. And then this I took a picture of at the antique mall, and it was so funny that I saw it, and it was near Valentine's Day, and I thought, oh, I want to buy that for my husband for Valentine's Day. That would be so funny. But it was funny because I had this song, Motorway to Roswell, which is an old Pixie song from the 80s that I had stuck in my head. And it's all about an alien and getting lost. And then I walked upon this in the antique mall, and it was so funny. So these were the first two pages that I did in here. And then I decided to go to kind of a different format where I'm just going to do random photos that might be from totally different time periods, you know, old, new. This is something, my mom texted me this picture, and I just printed this out from a text. That's my grandmother right there, and my mom texted me and said that she suspected maybe my grandmother was in a gang, a girl gang, which I just thought the photo was so cool. And I don't have any idea what year it is, but I pulled a page out of one of those Time Life books, actually one of these books where I use the cover. And that. And then this is a picture of my daughter, who I miss so much while she's away at college. This is a picture I took one day of my husband petting a cat. Now, my husband is highly allergic to cats, so that's kind of what makes it so funny. He's not really a cat person, but this cat walked through my yard, through my garden, and he's actually smiling, petting this cat. This is some cats I drew for a quilt that I designed years ago, and it was in my stash of stuff, so I put all the cats together on these pages. And then I've got some other photos tucked away in here, these that I want to put in. This picture I love of my daughter and I just said, sometimes I still can't believe we went to Africa. This is in the Serengeti. I think this is actually in the Ngorongoro crater. Pretty cool. This photo really cracks me up. This is of my daughter. I think it's 5th grade, but it really cracks me up. And I just said I have no idea where this photo came from, but it cracks me up. And then I wrote some things on here, you know, facts that we know, that my daughter's wearing a shower cap, and I have no idea where she is. And then when she came home, I asked her about it. But my conclusion was that she doesn't have any idea what's going on in this crazy photo either. So just going through random photos. I've also found some. This I found of this is me doing some lesson planning in my sewing studio that I had for a while, where I taught kids to sew. And I just wondered if I really miss this, you know, all of the creating patterns and managing money and keeping records and that kind of stuff. This is a little more of a sort of an actual scrapbooky looking page. This I kind of experimented with, just gessoing these glossy magazine pages, and it seems to work out really well. That's this page right here that I put this black craft paint on. This is actually one of these slick magazine pages like that, and it turned out great. It was actually really fun to write on. I used a one of these white jelly roll to write on this, and I love the way it turned out with that black craft paint. I can't wait until this journal is full, until it will barely close because there's so much stuff glued into it. I love the size of it, and I can't wait to fill it up. This one already weighs about 4 or 5 pounds, so I'm not really sure even actually how well the binding will, how well the spine will hold up once I get it completely weighed down. But I want to continue to put things in here, things I find on my desk and just random things that I have kind of laying around. So it's a junk journal, but it's also some of my memorabilia and the bulletin board things. So I have a feeling this video was really rambling, but I wanted to share these journals because I kind of wanted to get excited about working in them again. And I thought that you might find them inspiring. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.